Put. ร็วAnthony. Yeah. Back against that. Anthony. Over. Boy.
For the Division III men's soccer final in the CIF San Diego section.
You have to be pumped up about this after the basketball. Okay, good luck, fellas.
Today's game between the Buccaneers of Mission Bay High School and the Bucs of San Diego High School. And now here are the members of the Mission Bay Buccaneers. Goalkeeper, Hayel Moreno. Junior defensive player, Dan Chow. Number 5, senior defense, Francisco Mendoza. Number 6, senior forward, Jonathan Cruz. Number 7, senior midfielder, Cesar Estrada. Number 8, senior midfielder, Leo Ibarra. Number 9, senior midfielder, Anthony Vizcarra. Number 10, junior forward, Alex Cañedo. Number 11, senior defense, Seth Gilliam. Number 12, junior forward, Carlos Herrera. Number 13, senior defenseman, Omar Torres. Number 14, senior forward, Carlos Sanchez. Number 15, senior midfielder, David Yemeni. Number 16, junior defense, Richard Hiluna. Number 17, senior midfielder, Arnaldo Miranda. Number 18, senior defenseman, Jason Boyd. Number 19, senior forward, Dennis Sandstrom. And number 20, senior goalkeeper, Victor Rivas. Head coach of the Buccaneers in his first year, Joe Panchat, assisted by David School. Senior goalkeeper, Dane Oldham. Junior goalkeeper, Chris Verlarine. Number 4, junior midfielder, Chris Cooper. Number 2, senior midfielder, Frank Sanfilippo. Number 8, senior midfielder, Anthony Filipponi. Number 8, freshman midfielder Kevin Meissner. Number 9, senior defenseman Alex Rock. Number 10, junior forward Matt McCausland. Number 12, senior defenseman Rick Usher. Number 13, senior defenseman Zach Beach. Number 15, sophomore midfielder Scott Martin. Number 16, senior forward Matt Blassie. Number 17, freshman midfielder Robbie Diaz. Number 18, sophomore defenseman Nick McNeil. Number 19, senior midfielder Dave Bicklestaff. Number 20, senior defenseman Mike Alfred. Number 21, sophomore midfielder Brian Wilson. Number 22, junior defenseman Mark Pitzenmeyer. And number 23, senior forward Kyle Kutzka. Head coach of the Dons, Kevin Yaley, in his 9th year, assisted by Tom Tate.
Hello and welcome to Torrey Pines High School for the Boys Division III San Diego CIF 1999 Men's Soccer Championship Final. We've got the Mission Bay Buccaneers in the yellow shirts and black trunks versus the University Dons. They are in the white shirts and the red trunks.
Along the lines, Ryan Elliott and Kia DePana. On the field, Arnold Baldo.
As you just heard, the announcement of the referees for today's game. I'm David Goldberg. We're George Langeman Productions. We're at Torrey Pines High School.
Young athletes, you remember to applaud their efforts and do nothing to discredit their opponents.
The play will be 40 minutes halves.
And join with you in acknowledging the dedication and hard work of all our
And we're just moments away from getting underway here in this Boys Division III final. And we're just moments away from getting underway here in the Boys Division III final. Starting off with the ball is going to be the University Dons. Again, as I said before, they are in the white shirts and the red trunks. With his back to us right now at midfield is Scott Martin. Martin passes it back to his stopper, Zach Beach. Beach sends it over to Alex Rock. Rock with it, getting worked down over there by number 4, Carlos Sanchez. The ball goes out of play. We'll have our first throw-in. Just underway here in the first 40-minute half of this Boys Division III final. Mission Bay Buccaneers versus the University Dons. Ball comes out of the throw-in, headed twice by each team. Ball rolls over to Robbie Diaz. Diaz gives it up in favor of a teammate. The ball is kicked by Scott Martin. He has it. He's dribbling inside the box. He's trying to get a shot on net. Can't do it. He's forced out of bounds by David Yemeni. So we're going to have our first goal kick of the game. Looks like it's going to be taken by the stopper for the Buccaneers. We are scoreless here in the early going. Here's a kick. Good, strong blast, but it's headed right back by the Dons. Chasing down is Kyle Kutza, and he's tripped up. We're going to have a foul call at the spot. That was Kyle Kutza with the run. Kutska checked that. And we're going to have a free kick at the spot of the foul. So the University Dons with an early opportunity here as they're going to set up this free kick. Looks like it's going to be taken by Matt McCausland, number 10. Actually, he's going to defer in favor, it looks like, Frank Sanfilippo, the stopper. Let's check that, the sweeper for the Dons. For the Dons, this is their third straight championship appearance. They won 2 years ago and then lost last year by a score of 1-0. Here is the free kick going to be taken by Rick Usher. Here's Usher's kick. Doesn't get through the wall. Comes back to him. Scott Martin has it. He tries to get a kick on net. Doesn't get through the wall again. Goes over to McCausland. He's got it, dribbling against numerous defenders. He gets away with it, though, and gets the ball over to a teammate, but then the ball is spanked down towards the end line, and it's going to be taken by the goaltender. That is Jael Moreno for the Buccaneers. Moreno with his first touch of the game. He kicks a high floater, goes to midfield, headed back into Buccaneer territory, but then the Buccaneers try and regain possession. They have it. It's taken by Canedo, Alex Canedo, and he's tripped up and he's down. It looks hurt. Big collision there. Nice sportsmanship shown there by Scott Martin as he helps Canedo up. So we're going to have a free kick at that spot. It's going to go over to Omar Flores, who's going to take it at that. We are still scoreless. Here's Flores' kick. A lot of contact in the box, and we're going to have a whistle. We're going to have a foul call right there. Mission Bay celebrates the foul called on University. There was, as I said, a lot of contact. The foul is going to be called on Matt McCausland. He really dragged the Mission Bay player down, and we're going to have a penalty kick. We will have a penalty kick. So early, big break for the Buccaneers. University Dons players don't like the call particularly very much. It's going to be taken, it looks like, by Alex Rock. This is exciting. The penalty kick by Rock. Goal! He froze the University goalie, Dane Oldham. And Rock breaks through with a goal on the penalty kick to make Mission Bay get on top by a score of 1-0. So the penalty kick pays off as Rock converts it. Check that, that's Anthony Vizcarra. Anthony Vizcarra on the kick. I got confused with the other number 9 of the University Dons. That's Alex Rock. Anthony Vizcarra is the goal scorer. Vizcarra breaks through with the penalty kick. And the score is Mission Bay 1, University 0. Here comes University though. Down the far sideline is Usher. Usher lets the ball go out of play, however. Check that, that's Robbie Diaz. Numbers from this distance, a little bit difficult. It's going to be a throw-in at the far sideline, going to be taken by the Dons, number 23, Kyle Kutska. His throw-in, deep into the box, headed high and out nicely by Yemeni. Ball still loose in the box. The players converge on it. Mission Bay tries to gain possession. It's kicked out towards midfield. Chased down there by the Don Sanfilippo. Sanfilippo pounds it back, but it's going to go into the waiting hands of Jael Moreno, the goalkeeper for the Buccaneers. He's got it, and he's going to take the kick. 1-0, the Buccaneers on top from the goal, penalty kick goal by Anthony Vizcarra. We're going to have a throw-in. It's going to be taken by the Dons' Dave Bickenstaff. He throws it in, nicely headed towards Scott Martin. Nice play there by McCausland. McCausland will throw it in. The ball goes out of play. Just about 5 minutes into this first half of the Boys Division III final. Mission Bay on top by a score of 1-0. Penalty kick from Vizcarra. It's going to be thrown in at the near sideline by Kutska. He throws it in. Ball's headed high into the air. It's still loose. University trying to get a shot and score! The turnaround blast. We've got another goal.
University of San Diego High School score.
To tie it at 1. Scott Martin. Ball came down. He did a little flip around and spanked it into the near corner. So Martin ties it at 1. University answers. We are tied. Exciting start to this Division III 1999 final. Each team getting on the board early. Mission Bay scoring on the penalty kick and University answering in just a matter of minutes. The ball goes into Sanchez. He has it, but the ball is going to be deflected out of play, and it will result in our first corner of the game. And our first corner of the game is going to be taking place at the near sideline, taken by the Buccaneers. Corner is deflected way out of play, and looks like we're gonna do it again. This corner is going to be taken again by Victor Lemus. Here's a corner. Still ball deflects off two heads. Going to be come down into Jason Boyd. Boyd sends it back towards a teammate. Goes through, however, and sent back towards midfield by the Dons. And it will go out of play for a throw-in. Buccaneers retain possession. Ball kicked high into the air towards midfield. Ball deflected out of bounds by the Buccaneers. We're going to have a throw-in as our score is 1-1. We're at Torrey Pines High School on an early Saturday morning where the soccer championship is taking place. Ball is headed twice into the air nicely. Kicked out again, though, by the Buccaneers, and we're going to have a throw-in. It's going to be taken by the Dons' Rick Usher. Usher's throw-in is going to be headed by Cañedo. Then the ball is hit towards midfield, but Sanfilippo, the sweeper, comes in and gets a nice header to McCausland, but the McCausland can't get there before it goes out of play, but it will result in a throw-in for the Dons. So the Dons are able to set up their offense deep in Buccaneer territory, see if they can break through again to make it 2-1. The score remains tied at 1. Here's the throw-in. Headed out, comes down to Usher. Ball's loose, taken though by Yemeni. He sends it back out, but the Dons have possession, trying to work it with it. It's McCausland. He passes it over, but the ball's taken away nicely by Vizcarra. And Vizcarra sends it ahead, trying to hit a streaking Lemus, but the ball is going to be kicked out of play nicely by the Dons, so they can set up their defense. Sanfilippo back there in the sweeper position. So they're going to have a free kick. I didn't see the foul. Going to have a free kick just inside midfield. In the Dons' side. Buccaneers waving to their motion to their players, trying to get them set up the way they want them. Ball doesn't get very high and is kicked back towards where it came. Sent back in by the Buccaneers, but the Dons, Dave Bickenstaff, sends it back ahead. There's Beach with a touch. He sends it over to McCausland. McCausland, though, his progress has stopped when Dan Zhao sent it out of play. Ball comes back into play. With it is McCausland. He's working on the far sideline. He's going to get pushed. And no, they're going to call it while ball went off of his foot. Have a throw-in. Throw-in goes towards midfield. Kicked nicely by the Buccaneers. Carlos Sanchez there. Sancho's working on Beach. Got away with a shove, and we're going to have a throw-in as Beach is saying, hey, ref, I got pushed. No call. Here's the throw-in. Ball headed up high into the air, twice by the Dons. The Dons come down with it. That's Matt Galassi with it. Sends it over to Kutska. Kutska working on the far sideline, and it's going to be kicked out of play by Jason Boyd of the Buccaneers. We are still tied at 1 here about the midpoint of the first half. Unofficially, about 10 minutes in, actually, of this 40-minute half. We're going to have a throw-in. It's going to be taken, it looks like, by Kutska, Kyle Kutska, the senior of the Dons. Ball goes into Usher. Usher sends it high and over the net, not a play. We are still tied at 1. We pick up action down the near sideline as the Dons have it, looking to center the ball. On the defense is Dan Zhao. He's working against the Dons player. We're going to have a foul call, I think, right down in the far corner there on the Buccaneer side of the field. So it's going to be taken there, practically a corner kick. It's going to be taken by Scott Martin of the Dons. Here's Martin. Ball is loose, comes down, taken by Bickenstaff. He centers it. The shot by Beach doesn't get through. Beach with it again, still trying to get a shot on. Ball's deflected towards the far sideline, and on a play, we're going to have another throw-in for the University Dons. So after the early penalty kick, the Dons suffered against them. The Dons have pretty much dictated the pace. They have had most of the offensive pressure since that point. Looks like the throw-in is going to be taken by Kutska. Here's his throw-in. It's a high, nice throw-in. Goes towards the net and taken. Caught by Jael Moreno, the goaltender of the Buccaneers. Moreno comes down with it, bounces it casually, and kicks it out. But the kick goes right to the Dons' 19, Dave Bickenstaff. Bickenstaff comes down with it. Stepping up into the play is Jason Boyd, who just pounds it out of play. So we're going to have a throw-in. These two teams played twice this year. The first time they tied 2-2, and in the last time, the Buccaneers lost to the Dons in the final moments of the game on a late goal. So, as we've seen in the early going, these two teams are very evenly matched, highly competitive, and know each other very well. So we're in for a treat here. Here is the throw-in going to be taken by Bickenstaff. It's going to be sent right out of play. Now check that. The ball hugs that near sideline and stays in play. It's going to be taken by Canedo, who sends it deep towards net. Out of his net comes the goalie Dane Oldham for the University Dons, wearing that red sweater. He's got a booming high kick, comes down once and goes towards all the way back to his counterpart, Moreno. So Moreno has it now. And we'll do it again. His kick is high and long, but just goes to midfield. Taken by Martin. Martin working against Lemus. Ball goes back to San Filippo, the sweeper. Taken there by Beach. Check that, that's Kutska. Kutska sends it over to Diaz. Diaz working against Luna, and the ball will roll out of play. It will result in a throw-in for the Buccaneers. So each team has clamped down defensively since those two early goals. And the ball will sail out of play. We're still tied at 1. Here's the throw-in. Sent high into the air. Comes down in between the two players. Sent towards net and out of play. Very wide. Still tied at 1. Shot on goal, I think, was taken by Glassy. We're going to have a kick now for Omar Flores. Flores takes it. Sent back, though, by the Dons. And we're going to have a whistle. Didn't see the foul, but there is one. Ref calls it. It'll go over to the Buccaneers.
Oh, yeah. I'm working for what?
Ball comes over now near sideline to Canedo. He sends it down the near sideline, trying to hit Yemeni on a give and go there. Doesn't break through. Ball is sent out of bounds with authority by Omar Flores as he wanted to prevent the progress of Kutska. Kutska can't believe the ball is not towards the Dons, but actually there's a foul called on Kutska. Kutska's been very active so far this half. Kick is taken by the Buccaneers, and it will roll off of the Buccaneers' Jason Boyd, not a play. Check that the Buccaneers, when they've had the opportunities for a free kick, they haven't got it as high as maybe they want to. And subsequently, the Dons have been able to stop their progress. Looks like we're going to have our first substitution of the game. Off is going to go Matt Glassy. And it looks like it's going to be number 5, Kevin Meissner, coming in to replace Glassy.
Into the game for University of San Diego High School.
Ball rolls out. We're going to have a throw-in. It's going to be taken by Meissner. Here's a throw-in by Bickenstaff. He tries to hit Beach. Goes all the way back to Sanfilippo. Sanfilippo stolen away, but nicely by Lemus. Sends it up ahead towards his partners, Carlos Sanchez. And Sanchez's ball is deflected out of play, so we're going to have a throw-in deep in University territory. We're tied at 1. And we're ready for a throw-in for the Buccaneers. Ball's headed out nicely by the Dons. Chased down by Yemeni. Yemeni has it, working against Diaz. Diaz takes the ball away from Yemeni. University sends it high into the air. Ball bounces towards midfield. Headed nicely by McCausland. McCausland gets it up to Bickenstaff. Bickenstaff trying to get a shot on net before he's chased down by the defense of the Buccaneers. And his shot is going to go way wide as his progress was impeded. So we're going to have a goal kick. It's going to be taken by the sweeper of the Buccaneers.
Hey fans, restrooms are available behind the visitor stands.
And that is a loud PA. Ball is headed towards midfield.
Thank you.
Kicked out nicely there by Flores. Flores, it comes down, and we're going to have an offside call, however. Mission Bay sideline got excited just for a moment before Victor Lemus was whistled for offside. So we're going to have a free kick at that spot for the University Dons. We are tied at 1 here in the first half of this boys Division III final.
They're okay, they're leaving, they're not coming in.
Here's the free kick. Deflects and kicked back out by the Buccaneers. Headed back in by University and then spanked back in with authority all the way towards Dane Oldham, who hasn't been that active since that early penalty kick. His kick goes past midfield, taken by the Dons. It's going to come down to Jason Boyd. However, you saw Boyd fall down. The field is a little muddy in spots and soft. With it is Vizcarra. Vizcarra still dribbling, and he's dragged down from behind, and he's a yellow card. A yellow card is given to Zach Beach, the stopper. He wanted to stop the progress there of Vizcarra, and he did, but he got a yellow card for it. And it looks like Beach is going to be coming out of the game after that yellow card.
Into the game for the Dons.
And into the game is going to come Fitzenmeyer, Mark Fitzenmeyer.
Mark Fitzenmeyer.
Omar Flores looks like he's going to take this free kick as University is going to try and set up a wall. Fitzenmeyer stands in front. Here's the free kick. Does not get through. But again, it comes back to Flores, who had another try at it, but again, it doesn't get through. But again, he comes in with a nice header, sends it back towards his teammate Yemeni. Yemeni has it, but it's taken away by Martin. Martin now, ball deflects, goes over to Miranda. Miranda towards Vizcarra. Vizcarra sends a pass into the box. His player, though, falls down. However, the Buccaneers retain possession. With it is Yemeni. He's working. Still maintains it. He's doing a nice job of dribbling. The ball comes out to Vizcarra, who cannot maintain control, and the University Dons send it back out and chased down by Dan Zhao. Exciting action here in the first half of this Boys Division III final, where we're still tied at 1. The Mission Bay Buccaneers are in the yellow shirts and black trunks. The University Dons are in the red shorts and white shirts. Mission Bay coming to life in the last few moments. They really got excited with that yellow card was given to Beach. Here's Vizcarra, who scored the Mission Bay goal. He sends it down the far sideline to a teammate. That is Victor Lemus, but his progress is impeded when it's kicked out by the defense of the University Dons. So we're going to have a throw-in for the Buccaneers. We're still tied at 1. Here's the throw-in. Taken by Lemus. It's headed high into the air. Comes down. Lemus gets a touch on it. Gently touches it up. The ball's headed towards net, but it's going to roll wide, and the goaltender, Dane Oldham, will let it go out of play. So that'll result in a goal kick. Looks like it's going to be taken by Sanfilippo, the sweeper. So the Dons are able to withstand that intense pressure of the Buccaneers in the last few moments. The ball is headed back out nicely, comes down to Yemeni. Yemeni tries to send it up ahead to Lemus, but it's intercepted. However, the ball comes to Vizcarra, who tries to blast on net, but is deflected, comes back out to Sanfilippo, who spanks it down into Buccaneer territory and out of play. You can hear this crowd is coming to life. They've been slowly coming in. Didn't look like it looked like a sparse crowd initially, but as the game is wearing on and the hour grows later, it looks like more people are arriving for this Boys Division III final. With it now, it's Kutska. He hasn't had a touch in a few moments, but he's got it now, but taken beautifully off the ball by Vizcarra. He sends it over to Yemeni, who can't get there before it rolls out of play. It's going to be thrown in by Meissner of the University Dons. And it looks like we're going to have another substitution as the coach of the Dons. It's Kevin Yaley is motioning over to Dave Bickenstaff to come out of the game. And it looks like he's going to be replaced in favor of Mike Alfred.
Into the game for the Dons, number 20, Mike Alfred, replacing Dave Blickenstaff.
Ball goes over the head of Martin and controlled by the Buccaneers. Again, as you can see the players sliding around there, those patches of mud or soft dirt. And the ball is kicked back and will roll all the way out of play. And it will go over to the Buccaneers. So the Buccaneers will take this goal kick. It's kind of hangs up in the wind there. There is a soft breeze. Ball is being deflected around midfield until it comes down to Carlos Sanchez. Sanchez being tackled nicely, and there's no whistle. Beautiful tackle there. And the ball will be allowed to roll out of play by the Buccaneers' Omar Flores. So beautiful tackle there by the Dons, and it will result in a throw-in for Omar Flores. Flores sends it up to midfield, and we've got a whistle as number 10, that is Canedo, comes and upends the Dons' Kevin Meissner, and he's lucky he didn't get a yellow card. Very lucky. Referee very lenient so far. He has given one yellow card. That went to the Dons. Zach Beach. Here's the free kick. Going to be taken by Sanfilippo. The ball deflects high into the air, comes down into the box of the Buccaneers. Players pushing on one another. The referee allowing a lot of contact, and the ball is going to be kicked out of play. It will remain in the Dons' possession. Exciting championship final here. The referee letting a lot of physical play go, and you like to see that in a game of this magnitude where both teams are trying and competing so hard.
Into the game for the Dons, number 16, Matt Glassy.
As you just heard the PA announce a substitution, Glassy comes back into the game for the University Dons.
Out of the game, number 23, Kyle Kuski.
Kutska comes out. He has been a force for the Dons thus far. It looks like Coach Kevin Yaley wants to give him a rest and have him fresh for the second half. Unofficially, under 10 minutes to go here in this first half of play. These halves are 40 minutes in length. Ball is sent out casually by Sanfilippo. The ball comes into the air and will go over to the Buccaneers on a foul call. It is a cool Saturday in March in Southern California. It is almost what I'd say perfect soccer weather, as there's a nice cool breeze. Yep. Ball comes over to the near sideline, and we're going to have a whistle called. I'm not sure what the call is, but it will result in a throw-in for the Mission Bay Buccaneers. We are still tied at 1, both goals coming within the first 5 minutes of the game. And there's a shove there, and no whistle call. Again, as I said earlier, the ref is really letting a lot of things go, as Alex Rock got away with a shove there on 15, Yemeni of the Buccaneers. So Sanfilippo will take the goal kick. Looks like there's a sub for the Buccaneers. I think that's the first one of the game for them. Into the game comes Jonathan Cruz. Miranda, replacing Miranda. Ball comes high into the air, headed out by Canedo. Comes back towards midfield, taken by Fitzenmeyer. Fitzenmeyer does a beautiful tackle there. Sends it over to Alex Rock.
Thank you.
This ball is going to roll out of play and going to go over to Omar Flores. Flores sends it in, goes over the head of his teammate, Sanchez, and the ball will roll out of play. It will be a throw-in for the University Dons. Ball is deflected and out of play. We're going to have another throw, and our score still is tied at 1. We've had real exciting action here in this first half of play. Ball is headed nicely down the near sideline, but out with it comes Alex Rock. Rock is challenged by Dan Zhao. Comes down in the University Dons' possession. Chased down by McCausland. McCausland, though, is taken off the ball by Sanchez, who runs into Scott Martin. No whistle call. Comes into the chest of Vizcarra, who scored the game's goal for the Buccaneers. It's a little handball gotten away with by McCausland there. He sends it back down into the waiting hands of Jael Moreno, the goalkeeper for the Buccaneers. That's the best goal kick of the game for Moreno. Ball's deflected and goes to Sanfilippo, who's been steady back there the whole game. Ball rolls towards the far sideline where it's picked up by Richard Luna. He's worked against by his counterpart, Matt Glassy, both number 16. Gonna have a throw-in, though, for Dan Zhao of the Buccaneers. Collision there, and there's no whistle. Down and rolling on the ground is Victor Lemus, who's been a force offensively. He's still on the ground, and there's been no whistle. It looked like he hit his head, and he's still on the ground, and there's no whistle. I think they should kick the ball out of bounds. Finally, there's a whistle, and Victor Lemus will be tended to. We are still tied here at 1. Looks like Lemus is getting up of his own volition, and looks like he's shaking off a few of the cobwebs and gets back into the game. So no blood, no foul, and we'll continue. Ball is spanked back, gets loose in the box, but then sent out nicely by Sanfilippo, who just got a kick. He put a kick on number 10, that is Canedo. Sanfilippo got a total kick on Canedo and got away with it. It came after the play. So these teams showing their fierce spirit here. As the ball is sent deep and out of play, we're still tied at 1. Throw-in for Victor Lemus. Lemus with it. The ball is deflected out by his counterpart, Mike Alfred, number 20.
Substitution for the Buccaneers, number 2, Carlos Herrera.
As you just heard the PA announcer announce Herrera into the game. A little beautiful give and go there, but Alfred stands his ground and sends it back towards the near sideline, all the way into midfield and into Buccaneer territory, where it's sent back out, controlled nicely by Yemeni. But Yemeni, the ball goes back out to Boyd. Boyd with it. Still running down. Oh, and there's so much contact. There's going to have to be a whistle. I mean, at some point, the referee is going to say, okay, that's enough contact there. The University Dons are playing very physical. Each team is, as a matter of fact. And there's going to be a throw-in.
Free kick.
Free kick, check that. Free kick's going to not get through the wall and is going to be sent all the way back towards the keeper, Moreno. Moreno being very casual with it. And gets off a kick where it goes to midfield. It's going to be handled there by Fitzenmeyer. Fitzenmeyer gets it back to Usher. Usher sends it up ahead to Glassy. Glassy with it. Falling down, though, in this soft field. Chased down there by the Dons. Scott Martin, and there's a great slide tackle, but the ball goes out of play, and the crowd loves that by Dan Zhao. And we're going to have a substitution, as it looks like number 22 is going to go off. That's Fitzenmeyer. Fitzenmeyer going off, and it looks like Kutska is going to be coming back into the game.
Into the game for the Dons, number 23, Kyle Kutska, replacing Martin Fitzenmeyer.
And the throw-in by Martin is curious, as it goes out of play to nobody. And we're going to have a goal kick going to be taken by the Buccaneers, Richard Luna. Ball's high into the air. There's a push right there at midfield. The referee catches that, and will be a free kick at that spot, right at about midfield for the University Dons. We're tied at 1, unofficially about 5 minutes left in this first half of play. Very cool morning here. Probably temperature in the high 50s. And the ball will roll out of play, so we're going to have a goal kick for the Buccaneers, where we're still tied at 1. Going to be taken by Omar Flores. Pushing and shoving still going on. The University comes down with it. It comes down to Matt Glassy. Glassy has it deflected, though, by Flores, and it will be off Glassy, and will be a throw-in for the Buccaneers. Throw-in towards the near sideline, and headed and out of play. The coaching staff of the Mission Bay Buccaneers, the head coach is Joe Panion, and the assistant is Jorge Palacios. Ball is sent high into the air. Comes down, loose inside the box, but nobody's going to get there, save the Buccaneers, as Moreno dives before the ball goes out the back line, and sent back towards midfield. As number 10, Alex Cañeda, loses a ball to the Dons, and the ball will roll out of play after Omar Flores gives it a kick out of play. So it's going to be a throw-in for University by Kevin Meissner. Sent back towards the near sideline, and the ball's still in play, and then kicked out by Flores again. So we're going to have a throw-in the near corner.
Let's break it coming in!
Here's a throw-in by Kutska. High throw-in. Ball is loose. Comes down. Here's a shot on net, but headed out nicely by Flores. Flores did a nice job of heading that shot, which was on net, out of harm's way. Comes down to Alfred. Alfred doing a nice job of sealing the ball away from Herrera. But the ball comes back to Herrera anyway. He sends it across field, but it rolls all the way out of play to head coach Kevin Yaley. Going to be thrown in by the Dons. Kutska working against his counterpart. Ball headed nicely there by Vizcarra. This game in spurts is just exciting and fast-paced and physical. Really excellent soccer we're seeing, championship soccer. Ball now by Cañedo. He sends it over to Herrera. Herrera gives it up in favor of his teammate Cruz. Cruz gets the ball taken away from him, but it's going to go out of play by the Dons. It'll be a throw-in in midfield for the Buccaneers. Taken nicely by Yemeni. Yemeni has it, sends it over to Vizcarra. Vizcarra, who's got the goal on the penalty kick for the Buccaneers. He sends it over to Lemus, but a little too far in front of Lemus, and he can't catch it, so the Dons will throw it in. Again, Lemus falls in that soft mud, and it's going to be taken out by Kutska. Kutska gives it back to a teammate and sent back towards the far sideline and out of play. We're still tied at 1 in the waning moments of the first half. Throwing goes towards midfield. We're going to have a handball, I think, yes. And it will go over to the Dons. Going to be taken right at about midfield, far sideline, right in front of the Dons bench. Here's the kick. Bounces high into the air. Two players working on it. The ball's still loose in the box. There's pulling, there's shoving. Ball still loose in the box. University trying to get a shot on net, can't do it as the ball comes out. Excellent defense played there by the Buccaneers, and they come out with the ball. They've got some numbers, looking to run. Sent towards Yemeni, but Yemeni, the pass is a little too far for him, and it's taken by San Filippo, who's just played such a steady, solid game back there. And the ball will go over to the Buccaneers. Throw in by Flores. We'll do it again. And there's a trip, and there's no call. Still no call. The Dons come out with it. That's Glassy with it. Taken off the ball nicely, though, by Canedo. Canedo working against, oh, wow, there's a lot of physical action going on, and there's just no call. There's bodies flying all over the place. We've got some really exciting soccer. There's a whistle call by the referee, but I'll tell you, is how competitive this game is. The ref's got to call something, or this game has a tendency to get out of control. The physical play just escalates if there's no calls. And the kick is not a good one by Flores. He sends it out of play, so it will go over to the Dons, where we're tied at 1. Throw in now for Meissner. Taken nicely. We're going to have a whistle. And the whistle signifies the end of the first half of play in the San Diego CIF 1999 Men's Soccer Championship Final between the Buccaneers and the University Dons. We are tied at 1. We'll be back with exciting second half action in just a few moments. And I'm David Goldberg with George Langevin Productions, and we are back for the second half action of the 1999 Boys Division III Soccer Championship Final, where the Mission Bay Buccaneers and the University Dons are tied at 1 after 140-minute half. It was a very exciting first half of play, a lot of physical play, both teams diving all over the place, and we're in for a treat in the second half. These two teams have very evenly matched. It's very competitive, and both want to win. So we'll see what happens here in this, what is going to be an exciting second half. Teams have switched sides. The University Dons are in the red shorts and the white shirts. Mission Bay Buccaneers are in the yellow shorts. Check that, yellow shirts and black trunks. A little go attempt for Ibarra was a little bit too far out of his reach, so it's going to go back to San Filippo, the sweeper of the Dons, who's had an excellent first half. Very steady and solid back there. Beach with the touch, and he is upended, and they can't believe the call. As upending the play was Vizcarra, and they can't believe the call on Beach, and Beach has got to be careful as he received a yellow card in the first half of play. One more, he's gone. Ball now comes down, headed high into the air by Dan Zhao. Ball goes past midfield towards Luna. Luna sends it deep and out of play. Will result in the goal kick for the Dons. And kick will be taken by San Filippo, who has done taking these free kicks. Goal kicks, check that. Ball comes down. Touched by the Buccaneers. Tentatively trying to break into the Dons side of the field. 16 Glassy passes it over to the far sideline, but a beautiful tackle there by Arnaldo Miranda. Miranda now gives it off to David Humaniz. Will be a throw-in. Humaniz gives it off in favor of a teammate. Action at the far side of the field with Canedo with a touch, goes back, kicked in by Flores. Ball's hit back towards midfield where it's handled nicely by Vizcarra, who does have the goal for the Buccaneers. We are still tied at 1 in the opening moments of this second half of play as the ball rolls out of bounds. Sanfilippo will take this goal kick. High, lazy kick, right around midfield. Touched by McCausland. Ball rolls down and Flores lets it roll out of bounds, so he'll pick it up for the throw-in. Goes over to Humaniz. Ball's kicked out of play. We'll go over to the Dons. So both teams come out with a little slower pace here in the second half action, as the first half was intense, and it looks like we're just getting a breather from that intensity for a few moments. Going to be thrown in at the far sideline by the Dons' Dave Bickenstaff. As I mentioned earlier, this is the third consecutive championship appearance by the University Dons and their 5th time in 7 years, where they have won 2 times in the last 7 years, the most recent being 2 years ago. We'll have another throw-in, as you expect in a game like this. A lot of contested play, a lot of throw-ins. Teams playing very cautious, taking no chances. Ball be thrown in. Kicked high into the air towards midfield. Player slips down there. Buccaneers have a break, but the ball slips away from Alex Cañeda, and the ball comes down to Alex Rock. Rock sends it up ahead to Matt Glassy. Glassy with it sends it back to his teammate. That's Beach, I think. Tackle there tried by Vizcarra. Can't get it, but the ball is in the hands of a teammate who's tackled off the ball nicely, and the ball will roll out of play. So the Dons now picking up the action and the intensity a little bit here, and they'll have a throw, and we're still tied at 1 with about 5 minutes gone here in the second half of play. Throwing towards the near sideline, far sideline. Goes back to Sanfilippo, who kind of deflects it towards midfield. Humaniz with it. He sends it over to Ibarra. Ibarra sends it back, but he can't get it past Rick Usher. Does a nice job. With it now again is Ibarra. Ibarra sends it over to Dan Zhao, but Zhao miskicks it and will go out of play for a throw-in for the Dons. Here's the throw-in on the near sideline. Headed high into the air by Vizcarra nicely. So we'll do it again. It's thrown in by Rick Usher. Action taking place right in front of us here. Ball headed high into the air by Dan Zhao. Comes down to Kutska. Ball headed back by Luna. Coming in is Alex Rock. Rock sends it over to Bickenstaff. Bickenstaff with it, but his shot is deflected by Luna and out of play. We'll do it again, still tied at 1. The throw-in will be taken by Kyle Kutska, the senior, number 23. Here's a throw-in by Kutska. Goes high, deflected out. Ball still in the box, off the head of Glassy. Ball hit high into the air. Comes down. 13's got a shot attempt. The ball deflects nicely there. That was Beach, who's there. Got a shot off, but it was deflected by the wall in front. Spanked back by McCausland. McCausland sends it over to Martin, who gets a touch. Ball deflected there amongst a group of players. Slide tackle nicely done, and we're going to have a whistle call, though, on Vizcarra, who says, "Ref, that was all in the heat of the moment. No harm." Ref lets it go without a card. Taken by Alex Rock at the far sideline. He sends it over to Kutska. Kutska with it. Sends it over to Glassy. Glassy trips and falls. And it's going to be the ball rolls out of play by the Buccaneers, so they'll get a goal kick. Well, we're still tied at 1. About 8 minutes gone here in this second half of play. Here's the goal kick. Goes towards midfield and headed back nicely by the Dons. Then sent back in, but handled there nicely by McCausland. McCausland's had a strong game. Ball is sent back, a little pushing. Goes unwhistled, and will be a throw-in for the Don Scott Martin. Martin throws it into Matt McCausland. McCausland chased down by Sanchez. And here come the Buccaneers. They've got a break. It's number 9, Vizcarra, and he's upended by McCausland on a slide tackle. And we're going to have a whistle as the ball rolls out of bounds. Some just great soccer happening here, folks. Here's a throw-in by the Buccaneers. Taken by Eumenes. He's got it, sends it towards net, headed out by Usher. Ball taken by McCausland, and he just sends it down the far sideline and finally out of play. Buccaneers trying to get something going offensively. Ball is being headed at the far sideline and will result in a throw-in. Down the far sideline nicely, and the Dons are in on a break. Here's a shot. He stops. He's still got time. Centers it. Oh, sent over by number 17, Diaz. I think that was Matt Glassy who got free on the break. It was Glassy. It's hard to see the numbers from here. And then there is a whistle call on a hard slide by Cañedo. The action is happening fast and furious. So just previously it was Glassy walking in. He did a beautiful stop move, let the two defenders pass him, try to cross pass to Diaz, and it was deflected a little bit and resulted in not a scoring opportunity, let's say, and then the ball is now taken by McCausland from the free kick off the slide tackle. So we pick up action again where the ball is rolled out of bounds. Rick Usher let it go out of bounds, and now he'll throw it in for the Dons. We are still tied at 1 as action is picking up here in the last few minutes of play. And there's, again, a little pushing and shoving. Ball's going to be thrown in by, and we're going to have a whistle. And now the referee's going to call over Dan Zhao and tell him, hey, listen, Zhao, stop pushing, and say the same thing to Robbie Diaz. It's a nice move by the referee. He wants these two teams to continue their competitive play, but he doesn't want any dirty stuff thrown in by Kutska. Nice high throw, and the ball is still loose in the box. Players flying all over there. Ball is headed. Shot attempt and deflects off the goalie. Gael Moreno will result in the corner. Looks like Moreno could have let that ball go. He chose not to, dove for it, went out of bounds off of his hand, so it will result in a corner kick for the Dons. I think it might be Matt Glassy over in the far corner who's taking that corner kick. It's difficult to read the numbers, but I believe it is Glassy. Glassy's corner. Batted out nicely by the Buccaneers as their fans cheer a sigh of relief on that, but the ball will roll out of play. Still belongs to the Dons. It's going to be taken by Martin. It was Scott Martin taking that corner, not Glassy. Ball deflected to Cañeda. Ball sent in deep. Goaltender is way out of the net. It's a risky play there by the goaltender, Dane Oldham. He was casual as can be, just waltzing over and kicking it out of play from the streaking Dan Zhao. Will result in a throw-in for the Dons. Here's the throw-in. Ball's headed out, kicked back nicely by Richard Luna. Luna's ball is going to roll out of play, though, and will result in a throw-in for the Dons. We are still tied at 1, about 12 minutes gone here in this 40-minute second half. And we'll do it again. Here's a throw-in. Headed high nicely by Glassy. Ball comes down to Ibarra. Ibarra still with it and trying to get free, but he can't do it before the ball rolls out of play. It'll be a throw-in for Scott Martin, and we're going to have, I believe, a substitution. No. Ref says continue. Ball kicked into the air. And deflects, goes through the goaltender, Jael Moreno, and will result in a corner kick. So a little misplay there by the Buccaneers, and it could cost him. Moreno mad at himself for letting that get through him. It was a little tricky play. Ball with a spin on it and got through his hands. So it will result in another corner for the Dons. Martin is taking that corner again. Number 15. Here's his corner. Ball gets through as a number of players jump for the header attempt. Kicked out nicely by Dan Zhao. Both players fighting hard. That is Usher against Sanchez. Usher comes out with it, sends it in, and the goalie, the ball is loose. The ball is still loose and rolls past the end line. So we're going to have the ball roll out of play, and it will result in, what is it called, a corner? They will call a corner. It looks like the goalie, Jael Moreno, is down and hurt. He's a little shaken up, gets up slowly, and runs back to his position, though. So we're going to continue. He better get back in net as they're ready to take this corner. Looks like this corner is going to again be taken by Martin. Here's Martin's corner. So the university has had 3 corner kicks so far in the first 15 minutes of this half. Corner goes back to Martin. He has it. He's got time. Lets the ball loft. Ball still loose. Ball still loose. They can't get a good kick on it, and it results in the pressure relieving as they couldn't get a kick on it. It looked like for a moment there, Mission Bay was kind of standing around waiting to see what University was going to do, and they were fortunate enough to escape there without a goal being scored on them. So we remain tied at 1. As this chance of Mission Bay are going up from the sideline, and 2 players sandwich number 15, Unis, there, but there's no call. He was asking, hey, where's the call? I got sandwiched. Ball's going to be thrown on the far sideline by Arnaldo Miranda. He gives it off in favor of a teammate. I think that is Omar Flores. Flores sends it over to Canedo. Ball's deflected high and out of play. Will be a throw-in for the Buccaneers. So far in this half, you'd have to say the University Dons have pretty much not necessarily controlled the tempo, but they have had the better offensive chances. And here is Victor Lemus. He had a chance there for a break, had to wait and get the ball, though, so it didn't result in much. Ball goes over to Sanfilippo, who ball escapes him and sent back to Rick Usher. Usher sends it up to Martin, but Martin can't get to it before it goes out of play. Throw-in for Dan Zhao. Zhao throws it in to Boyd. Boyd still with it. Now with Canedo has it. He sends it out of play. We're still tied at 1 in the second half action. Ball's going to be thrown in by the Dons' Rick Usher. Usher throws it in the near sideline. Ball gets through. Comes high into the air. Comes back to Usher, who heads it up nicely. The ball goes off of the legs of Sanfilippo for a throw-in by Lemus. Lemus throw-in is a beautiful one to Vizcarra. Vizcarra trying to break in, can't do it as he was shoved off the play by Alex Rock, but it will result in a corner kick for the Mission Bay Buccaneers. So this is their first corner of the second half, second of the game. It's going to be taken by Victor Lemus as the Mission Bay Buccaneer fans cheer wildly. Got to say, the Buccaneer fans outnumber the Dons. Here is the corner by Lemus. Headed towards net, but taken by Beach and spanked out of there. So a real result in the throw-in for the Buccaneers. They will retain possession deep in Don territory here. And the throw-in results in a Buccaneer player tripping Don's control. Break out with it. Tackle attempt missed, taken out by Kutska. He sends it up ahead, but taken off nicely by Richard Luna. Luna defers it, and the ball is just spanked out of bounds hard by Boyd. and it will result in a throw-in for the Buccaneers. We're still tied at 1. About 18 minutes gone here in the second half of play. Ball kicked back and forth towards by midfield. Sent high into the air. Taking now is Dan Zhao. His ball deflects, goes to Vizcarra. Vizcarra has it. Oh, and he is hammered down, and there's no call by Sanfilippo. And now there's another contact, and a yellow card to Zach Beach, and he's out of the game. He is really getting angry, and he can't believe the call. Matt Beach, though, is gone. And the goaltender, Dane Oldham, is coming to, on the red card is given. That's right, he's out of the game. The goaltender, Dane Oldham, is into the play, and he better get out of there. He's going to get a yellow card. Very difficult point here for the University Dons. If they lose their cool, they risk losing the championship. They've got to maintain their heads and continue, as hard as that may be. Now, the goaltender, Dane Oldham, is still on the sidelines, and there's a new goaltender coming into the game. I'm not sure why he left. He did come and complain to the referee. I'm not sure if there's been a double red card given. Yes, Zach Beach is out of the game, and it looks like there is a goaltender switch for the Dons. And I'll get word on that new goalkeeper as soon as I have it. And the brain trust, that is Kevin Yaley, still talking with the referee, trying to understand what his rationale is. Still arguing, and Dane Oldham is still arguing from the sideline, and he's got to be very careful here. So, with the fans in a frenzy, we resume action with the score tied at 1, and the Dons down a man. That is a big loss. That is a stopper of the Dons. That was Zach Beach. Big loss. He's been a solid performer all game and has been a force. So now down a man, and one of their better players, Zach Beach. And here comes Dane Oldham back into the game. So Oldham comes back in. The referee now trying to explain what happened to the coach of the Buccaneers, Joe Panion. Ball goes over to midfield. Now Robbie Diaz has it. Goes back to Sanfilippo. The burn is going to be even more on his shoulders now with his partner back there, Zach Beach, out. And we're going to have a whistle now. It's going to go against the University. Foul call. Going to be a free kick at the spot. So the Buccaneers, the momentum is shifting towards their side, but can they make it convert into a goal? Goes over to Dan Zhao. Zhao still with it. Still has it. Trying to corral the ball, but it goes towards midfield, chased down by Matt Glassy. Comes to Vizcarra. Vizcarra still working with it. However, he loses the ball to Glassy. Glassy sends it over to Mike Alford. Alford with it. Alford sends it over to Kutska. Kutska now becomes crucially important for the Dons. And the ball goes out of play, so it'll be a throw-in for Mission Bay. And again, you hear a roar of disapproval from the University Don sideline, and fan support. We'll have a whistle, free kick, foul. Ball sent in high and deep. Ball still loose. Oh, shot attempt high and over the crossbar. Great chance there for Matt McCausland, but his shot went high and wide. That was a similar goal they had in the first half, where they scored on a very similar play, a turnaround play, shot into the corner of the net. It's going to be Richard Luna taking this goal kick. Goes over to Lemus. Lemus working against Diaz. Ball goes out of play. Oh, wow, there was a high kick there by McCausland. Just missed kicking the Buccaneer player in the face there. Ball will roll out of play. Throw in for the Dons. We are tied at 1 with under 20 minutes to play here in the second half. Here's a throw-in on the near sideline. Ball headed into the air. Will roll out of play, taken by Scott Martin. He's going to defer in favor of Rick Usher. Here we pick up action with Anthony Vizcarra. Sent back deep, given chase by Alfred and Sanfilippo. The ball will roll out of play, though, and go back over to the Dons. Ball goes high into the air. Players fall. Ball sent back in towards Diaz. Diaz with it. He's got some time, surveys the field, and the ball deflects. Chase for the ball, and taken nicely by Moreno as he raced out of his net to grab that loose ball. Here's his kick. High kick, bounces to Sanfilippo, who just pounds it back into Buccaneer territory. Chased down there by Yuma. Check that, that's Dan Zhao. Here's a throw in by Zhao. Taken nicely, though, by the Dons. Ball is deflected back and forth and finally bounces out of play. We're still tied at 1. Here's a throw-in by Rick Usher of the Dons. We're still score is still tied at 1 here in this second half of play. Ball goes sent back into the waiting arms of the goalie, Moreno. It deflected and came right to him. Nice play right there by Eumenes. He kind of kicked it to himself there and couldn't get there in time. The ball sent way out of play by the Dons, make no mistake about it. So it'll be a throw-in for the Buccaneers. We are still tied at 1. The throw-in's going to be taken by Omar Flores. Here's Flores. Throw-in. Ball's loose in the box. Ball still loose. A kick. Save made by the goalkeeper, Oldham. Beautiful save. Biggest save of the game. Huge save there by Oldham. He came up huge. And here come the Dons out with it. Gonna have a whistle right there. And I guess we're gonna have a free kick at the spot. So we are still tied at 1. The free kick is going to be taken by the Dons, Rick Usher. Here's Usher's kick. It goes all the way through. The ball's loose. Oh, very close. And Buccaneers are playing with fire there. And we're going to have a push call. Now the referee is calling a little. There's a pushing and shoving going on between these two teams. Referee is just going to calm them down and let them continue action. And there's going to be a yellow card now given to Alex Canedo. Canedo gets a yellow. That might have been a makeup call in some respects by the referee. He waited a long time before he decided to pull out the yellow card, and I don't even know if he saw what Canedo did. Nevertheless, Canedo leaves the game with the yellow, and replacing him comes Carlos Herrera.
Replacing number 10, Alex Canedo.
Free kick taken by McCausland. Ball deflects off ahead. Still controlled by Sanfilippo. Sanfilippo centers the ball. Goes over to Meissner. Meissner with it. Kicks it into the box, headed out nicely by Jimenez. Ball's taken by the Buccaneers. They come out with it. There's a go attempt, but nobody's going to get there except the goaltender. Oh, the ball deflects. The ball's loose. But the Dons are able to get it out of there. Taken now by Vizcarra, and his ball, though, goes out of play. Well, we're still tied at 1. Unofficially, about 11 minutes to go here in the second half of play. What a game we've had here this afternoon. 2 goals, one by each team in the first, literally 4 minutes of the game, and there hasn't been a goal since. And, oh, there's some pushing and shoving going on, and this. They better watch it. This might escalate. And a yellow card now given to Jimenez. I'll tell you, it's understandable how hot-headed these kids can be with such a game on the line and the competitive juice is flowing. But as you get older, you learn that in a game of this magnitude, you've got to keep your head. It could cost your team the championship.
Out comes David Jimenez.
The ball will be taken by the Buccaneers. Taken there by Lemus. Lemus gets the ball taken away from him, though. Ball gets taken away from Kutska and falls back towards midfield where Flores has it, working against Meissner. Ball nicely taken by Herrera. Herrera comes out with it, but he can't control it. Ball sent back over to Meissner. Meissner sends it up the near far sideline. He gets it back, tries to send it ahead for Glassy, and Glassy will not get there. Taken by Moreno, the goaltender. Ball hit high into the air, and still no, out of play. It'll be thrown at the far sideline for the Dons. Ball is sent back in, headed out back in by Usher nicely. Chased down by McCausland. McCausland getting pressure. Gets it through the legs, though, of Zhao, and we're going to have a whistle. I didn't see what happened, but we're going to get a whistle. Coach Joe Panion of the Buccaneers cannot really understand that call. Neither can I. It's going to be a free kick at the spot for Rick Usher. So, again, the Dons, even though they're down a man, they're still forcing the action. Ball hit high into the air. Bounces once. Still loose in the box. Kicked out there. Coming in as Alfred, who sends it back in to Diaz. Diaz working against 2 Buccaneer players. Out with it comes Canedo. And the ball goes out of play. So Canedo back into the game after a yellow card. Looks like there's going to be substitutions on the Buccaneer sideline. As into the game is going to be coming Jonathan Cruz, number 6. Out, it looks like it's going to be Arnaldo Miranda.
Jonathan Cruz replacing number 4, Dan Zhao.
15's back in 30s.
Into the game, number 15, David Jimenez, replacing Arnaldo Miranda.
So Jimenez is back into the game for the Buccaneers after leaving for a few moments after receiving a yellow card. So we pick up action with Mike Alfred, number 20 of the Dons, having the ball, but he's taken off the ball, and here comes the Buccaneers. There's some room. Ball is given to Herrera. Herrera working against Alfred, still working, but the Dons playing great team defense, and we're finally going to get a foul call as the Dons are really molesting Herrera there. So we're going to get a foul call, free kick at the spot, so the Buccaneers are able to arrange their troops in the offensive zone of the Dons. And let's see if that can result in a goal. And here's a kick. Goes towards the net. High and deflected out nicely. Sent in towards the net, and ball is still loose. Ball is sent in. Nobody's going to get a clear shot on it, though. Again, the goalie, Dane Oldham, coming up big. He got his left paw up and just swatted the ball, deflected it a little bit, and basically deflected it so a quality shot on net could not be forthcoming. Buccaneers are doing their best to get things going offensively, but they are still playing a conservative defense. They have about 4 or 5 guys back, even though they have a man advantage at this point. Ball is thrown in, goes all the way into Lemus. Lemus still working. Oh, and there's going to be a whistle. What's the call? And there's going to be no call. This ball is going to be resulting in a free kick, goal kick for the University Dons. I thought for a second we have a free kick, and folks, it is starting to rain. It is starting to rain here. But we will stay with you. It doesn't look like it's going to coming down very hard. It's just a little smattering at this point. Ball is sent back in, and there's no spin on it at all. Goes high into the air, headed out by Moreno, and that's a dangerous play. He's out of the net. Ball comes back into the box. It goes to Fitzenmeyer. There's got to be a whistle there. Come on, and there's a yellow card to Fitzenmeyer. And that's deservedly so. He pulled down the Buccaneer player there. Literally pulled him down.
Out of the game, number 22, Mark Fitzenmeyer.
So Fitzenmeyer will go off, and back into the game I think is coming Kutska.
Number 23, Kyle Kutska.
So we're going to have a free kick at that spot of the foul. Although the Dons are playing down a man, it certainly doesn't seem like it, as they have still played the Buccaneers very evenly. In fact, maybe getting the majority of the scoring chances. That beautiful play. Oh, there's a collision there. Huge collision. Lemus running into Usher, and there's some words back and forth between the two and the bench. This game is just highly competitive. Will result in a throw-in for Victor Lemus, number 20. So can the Buccaneers break through here? We are unofficially under 5 minutes to go here in the second half of play. We are still tied at 1. It's been that way ever since the 5th minute. Here comes the Buccaneers. They get a break. It's a turnover. But number 9, Vizcarra is taken off the ball beautifully by the Dons. And the Buccaneers come out with it. Here they come. Here's Boyd. Boyd sends it down the far near sideline to Cruz. Cruz with it. Doing a little dance on Sanfilippo, and will go off of Sanfilippo and will result in the corner. Nicely done by Cruz. The Buccaneers sideline really getting into it, trying to cheer their team on to victory. Here in the San Diego CIF 1999 Men's Soccer Championship, the Boys Division III Final. The corner is still on the ground, kicked in, no, it's deflected beautifully by the Dons. And here's another attempt, and that's going to go way wide. Buccaneers had a chance, but the scoring attempt was deflected out of play, will result in the goal kick. Unofficially, 3 minutes to go here in the second half of play. If we do end tied, we will go to overtime. Ball is sent back in, chased down by Cruz, but he can't get there before it rolls out of play. Will be a throw-in for Sanfilippo and the Dons. Here is a throw-in. Buccaneers with it. Nobody there, though. Dons clear it out back towards midfield. Headed back nicely by Boyd. Comes down to Cruz. Cruz having trouble handling it, and he can't before it goes out of bounds, and will result in a throw-in for the Buccaneers. I thought initially that went off of the Buccaneers, but no, other way. Here come the Mission Bay chants, thrown in by Loomis. Oh, a little behind the back, nifty kick, but no chance of scoring. Will result in a goal kick. Taken by Carlos, check that. Frank Sanfilippo, the sweeper, has had a very busy afternoon. Taken by Herrera. Herrera with it. Sends it toward the near sideline to Loomis, who can't get a touch on it. And Loomis, he steals it. He's still got the ball and he's tripped. There is no call. That was a clean tackle. A clean tackle from this vantage point. No call. Mission Bay desperately wanted that call. That would have resulted in a penalty kick. And looks like Lemus is down now. He's being tended to. Looks like maybe a pulled muscle. He's being tended to, and we'll have an injury timeout with our score with unofficially just a minute left. We're tied at 1. We pick up action as Victor Lemus leaves the field. He limps off, so we're going to have a substitute for him. Mission Bay, though, still has it deep in Don territory as they try and get something going. The ball's still loose. Oh, they had a shot opportunity by Boyd, but he missed. He missed the ball. He missed it. Ball is still loose, though, and the Dons try to clear. Taken out by Kutska. Kutska does a nice job. We're going to have a whistle. What's the call? Free kick for the Dons. Oh, great opportunity there by the Buccaneers. Boyd flipped around, looked like he had a little bit of time and space, but just mishit it. Ball is headed back out. The scoreboard has stopped. The clock has stopped at 1 minute. Obviously, that is not correct. Unofficially, I think we are indeed under a minute, but there probably will be some injury time added on. Mission Bay now trying to score in the last few moments. If you recall, I said in the first half that the last time these two teams played, University Dons scored a goal in the waning moments of the game to win the game. Can the tables be turned, or can they do it again? Again, these teams have played 3 times this year. Once was tied 2-2. The last time, the Dons, as I said, won in the final minutes, and now this game is tied at 1 with just literally a few seconds remaining. I mean, how evenly matched can these teams be? If this does go into overtime, they will play 2 15-minute halves. So we will be here a while. Ball rolls out of play. We're still tied at 1. Ball headed out. Dons are there, though. Sanfilippo is just going to pound it back in, taken by Luna. Mission Bay wants to avoid any mistakes here in their own territory. Will be a throw-in for Kutska and the Dons. Here's a throw-in. Ball is sent out to Alford. Alford with it, winds up, gets a shot off, but it'll go wide and result in a goal kick. So either team has been able to break through since the opening minutes of the game. Ball is sent towards the far sideline, down it, and here come the Buccaneers. Can't get there in time, though. Mission Bay playing conservative in their own zone. Ball sent towards the near sideline, and Rick Usher. Usher sends it in. Kicked high into the air. And the whistle is the end of regulation. So, 80 minutes have not been able to solve the outcome. We will go to overtime tied at 1 apiece. Well, we're into overtime. Sudden death overtime. Mission Bay starts out with the ball, taken back, kicked in by Alfred. Sudden death overtime consists of the following. There will be the first goal wins in sudden death overtime. If there are no goals, they play 2 15-minute halves. And at the end of those 30 minutes, if there is no goal, the teams will be declared co-champions. Ball is kicked back in. Whoa, dangerous play right there. Nicely handled, though, by Flores. Taken by Eumenes. Eumenes has it. Kicks it ahead, trying to hit Herrera. Ball goes down, controlled by Flores. Flores working against Martin. Ball will roll out of play, go over to Alfred. Heading back and forth. Kicked out towards midfield, headed back by McCausland. Ball's hit and will roll out of play. We've seen some exciting soccer here today, and we just might have 30 more minutes of it until we can settle this thing. Number 9, that is Alex Rock, takes it. Sends it over to 15, Scott Martin. Martin's back to Rock, walking in. Finally, progress is stopped. Out with it's going to come Matt Glassy. Glassy with it. Going to send it over to McCausland. McCausland sends it over to Martin. Martin sends it over to Diaz. Diaz with it, but he cannot turn the corner before the ball rolls out of play. It will result in a goal kick for the Mission Bay Buccaneers. We're in overtime, still tied at 1. Goal kick taken, sent out towards midfield, headed by Lemus. Ball's controlled, though, by the Dons. They are coming in. They've had the offensive pressure so far in this overtime session, just about 3 minutes in. Ball comes in to the Dons. They got a shot on net. Deflected, still loose. And what's the call? We're going to have a whistle as it was interference of the goalkeeper. The keeper is down, and he's getting up slowly. But there's interference of the goalkeeper. So it will result in a goal kick for the Buccaneers. Real cool Saturday day here in March. Ball taken by the Dons. Again, you can see how aggressive they are offensively, even though they're down a man. And it is the Buccaneers who have the extra man who are playing more conservative. Ball sent in towards net. It's dangerous. Good handle there by Moreno, the goalkeeper. His kick's going to land around midfield. Bounces high into the air. Bounces high again. Again, the Dons with possession. That is Scott Martin. Martin sends it back to a teammate, but it's intercepted by Vizcarra. He sends it deep to Sanchez, but Sanchez will not be able to get it before Dane Oldham, the goalkeeper, is able to handle it. Here's Oldham's kick. Big booming kick. Goes over the head of the two players there. Taken nicely by Luna. Luna does a nice job of getting the ball back into Don territory. Taken there, Dane Oldham comes out, and he slides and gets it. Dane Oldham has played a very solid game. The only goal he gave up was on a penalty kick, and he had no chance as Vizcarra went top shelf. With it now is the Dons. They have some numbers, got some room. Here's a kick. Oh, it hit the crossbar after the tip by Moreno. That's the best chance we've had since probably the first 5 minutes. Big play there by Moreno. That's his biggest stop, matching Oldham. But again, it's the Dons who are controlling the pace even though they're down a man. Here's the Buccaneers, sent ahead. Headed back out. Alfred with it. Spanked back in by Canedo off a header. With it is McCausland. He's had a very strong game. Pass sent up to Glassy. Glassy working against 2 Buccaneer players till Canedo comes out with it and sends it up ahead to Lemus. Lemus with it. Sends it up ahead to Sanchez, but Sanchez gets beaten to the ball by the Dons. Sanchez looks dead tired. With it is Alex Rock. In fact, a lot of the players of the Buccaneers look tired at this point. So Dons are just beating them to the ball. There's a case example right there. Actually, there it is. 15, Scott Martins takes it away from Herrera. Sent back in, but Alfred's going to get another touch. Oh, but he can't. That is Meissner who can't control it. Ball will be thrown in by Omar Flores. We're about 6 minutes gone in the first overtime session. We'll do it again, as we're going to have a substitution. Out of the game comes Lemus, and into the game comes Miranda. I think that's a good move. It looks like some of the Buccaneer players are fatigued at this point. Taken by Herrera. He kicks it, but there's nobody there except Don players. There's a nice pass by the Buccaneers. Oh, 2 nice passes, but the pass was behind Vizcarra. The Dons come out with it. That is Scott Martin. Martin gives it ahead. Oh, and he's collided into, and we're going to have a whistle at that spot. I think that's deserved, even though there's heated emotions on both sides. Again, the Dons are just the ones doing all the pressing and the hard work, really outworking the Buccaneers here in this first overtime session, even though they are down a man. So at this free kick, who's going to take it? It's going to be Martin or Usher as the Buccaneers try to set up their wall. Here's the kick. Handled nicely by the goalkeeper, Moreno. He handled it without a problem, caught it, let it bounce, and caught it again. Again, the Dons come out with it. Some Buccaneer fans are calling for a yellow card on that play, but it's clean. Ball's thrown in. Ball will be another throw-in for the yellow, for the Buccaneers. It's amazing how emotion influences the way an individual sees a game. As the cold wind continues to blow, we're winding down our first overtime session, about halfway through it. As I said, we're in sudden death. If no team scores after 30 minutes, they'll be co-champions for 1999. Here come the Dons again. They're the ones pressing the attack. Ball sent back out, though, by the Buccaneers. And there's a whistle at midfield. Rick Usher can't believe it. Buccaneers are really struggling to get anything offensively going. So instead of kicking it right away, they take their time, set up their troops, and allow Richard Luna to take it. Here's Luna's kick. Again, didn't get it very high, so it doesn't get through that first wall. Ball sent back in, though, and it will roll past the end line for a goal kick. San Filippo is going to take this. Ball bounces high. Nicely done. Again, Herrera can't control it, so he has to go back for it. That eliminates a chance for a break opportunity. Here comes flying into the play as Eumenes with a blast, but it goes way wide. Pick up the goal kick is taken by Sanfilippo. Headed back in. What a marathon this is turning into. Nice pass there by Miranda, but Vizcarra can't corral it. There's the Buccaneers playing that solid defense back there. Send it back to Herrera. Herrera working against Alfred. Alfred does a nice job of getting it out of harm's way, so we'll have another throw-in. Pick up action, here's the throw-in. Oh, but the ball goes out of play. Not a very good play there by the Buccaneers. They had the ball deep in Don territory and turned it over. Here's the goal kick by Sanfilippo. Comes down to Kutska. Kutska working against Flores. Ball sent back to Alfred, and he's a little disappointed himself that he kicked it out of play, so we'll have another throw-in. We're winding down, about under 4 minutes left to go in the first overtime period. We're in sudden death of the 1999 CIF Men's Soccer Championship of the Boys Division III Final. Here come the Dons. 10 takes it, kicks it up the far sideline. That's McCausland. McCausland's kick, though, doesn't get through, and it will be a result in a throw-in. Throw-in's going to be taken by Kutska. Here's his throw-in. Ball's high and over the top of the net. That was a close call. Nevertheless, we remain tied at 1 with about 3 minutes left to go in the first overtime period. Mission Bay will have a substitution here as into the game comes Jonathan Cruz in favor of Alex Cañedo.
For Mission Bay, number 6, Jonathan Cruz, replacing number 10, Alex Cañedo.
Well, the rain has subsided here. And we pick up action around midfield where it's headed back nicely by Rick Usher. Ball will roll out of play. It will result in a throw-in for the Buccaneers. We're going to have a throw-in. It's going to be taken on the far sideline by the Buccaneers. Looks like it's Lemus. Buccaneers still have it. That's Sanchez working with it. Ball is kicked back nicely. Buccaneers will, however, control. That's Richard Luna back there. Sent back towards midfield. Lot of room there for the Dons. Still a lot of room. Oh, Kutska just blasts into Zhao. The Dons now trying to get a shot on net. They do, and it's handled by Moreno. You can hear collectively the size and the holding of the breath by the Mission Bay sidelines here. Again, though, we've got to comment on how it is the Dons with the shots on net, even though they're down a man. Ball spanked back towards midfield. High into the air. Comes down to Alfred. Check that. Ball comes now to, there's a Sanfilippo comes down. There will be no card, but it will be a foul call. There's a lot of yelling by the fans towards the referee. They don't particularly like his calls, but he's called a somewhat even game. And that whistle signifies the end of the first overtime period. So we will go to the second overtime period. We are in sudden death, where the Mission Bay Buccaneers are tied with the University Dons at 1. And we pick up action in the beginning of this second overtime, sudden death. The Dons have been down a man ever since the later stages of the second half of the game, where Zach Beach, the Dons? Zach Beach was put off for 2 yellow cards in the second half, and he has not returned. Ball is sent back. And it will have a whistle right here. And it will result in a free kick at the spot of the foul for the Dons. Ball is sent back. Handled by number 9. Oh, and he's tripped up on that play, and there'll be no whistle. It'll be a throw-in for the Buccaneers. Buccaneers waiting for the ball to come down. It finally does, and sent back deep into the Dons territory. Will it roll? It will roll out of play. Will be a throw-in for them. Ball headed into the air. And kicked out again. With another throw-in. Taken by Sanfilippo. He sends it over to Alfred. Alfred sends it back over to Rock. Ball slid by Miranda. Can't get in touch with it. Ball sent back over to Alfred. Alfred working down the far sideline. He sends it towards net. Ball's loose. Still loose and goes past the end line for a corner kick. Actually, check that. They will have a goal kick for the Buccaneers. I originally thought the ball deflected off the Buccaneers, but I was mistaken. We'll have a goal kick. So we remain tied at 1 with about 12 minutes left in this second overtime period. Ball goes high into the air. Chase down now. Going to go all the way to the goaltender. He handles it. That's Dane Oldham. He's played very solid back there. He's got a big leg. Ball sent back to the far sideline for Meissner. Meissner trying to work against Miranda. And Miranda just to be content to kick the ball out of play. Be a throw in there for Kutska on the far sideline. Oh, nice play there by Moreno. Just came in and swallowed that up. Here is his kick. Headed twice by the Dons. Goes over the head of 22 Dan Zhao, creates a break for Scott Martin. Martin does a nice job of a little getting around the defender, but it will result in a corner for the University Dons. And this is going to be a corner for Matt Glassy. Glassy's corner does not get through, and it's headed out nicely by Jimenez. Alfred turning it over there. Throw in for the Buccaneers. They'll call a handball on Alfred right there, and the Buccaneers are trying to get things going, trying to catch the Dons napping. And there is no whistle as a Buccaneer player goes down in a heap. And now we'll have a whistle. As I'm not sure what the player is, we'll get word on it and see as soon as I see a number, but he went down in a heap.
Into the game, number 2, Carlos Herrera, replacing number 4, Dan Chow.
Herrera into the game, replaces Zhao, as you just heard. We pick up action with the Dons controlling the ball at midfield. Ball is sent in. Here comes Moreno, the goalkeeper. He comes out and sends it back out. And we're going to have a whistle. A yellow card is given to Scott Martin for belting the goaltender, Jael Moreno. That'll result in Martin leaving the game.
Out of the game for the Dons, number 15, Scott Martin.
A lot of displeasure with the referee. Bickenstaff comes back into the game for the Dons. Check that, that's Blickenstaff. Here's a deflected, kind of caught a Don player right there. That's Usher who was hurt. Rock with the ball. Check that, that is Vizcarra with the ball. Oh, and a nice tackle there. Ball will go out of play, and it will result in the ball going over to the Dons. Mission Bay sideline, can't believe it. Again, the Mission Bay sideline are hooting and hollering and cursing at the referee, showing all those lovable qualities. Here's a ball. It's headed high into the air. Dons converging, though, nicely, playing just really solid defense. That's how they've kept this game at 1. Will result in a throw-in for the Buccaneers. It's going to be taken by Jimenez. Going to be another throw-in, as it was softly played out by Jimenez. Again, the Dons do a nice job of getting the ball out. It's going to be taken by Zhao. Zhao with it, still has it. Oh, but Zhao mishits it and sends it out. Will result in a throw-in for the University Dons. We are still tied at 1 in sudden death overtime. We're in the second overtime period. We have 6.5 minutes to go. If neither team scores in that 6.5 minutes, we will have co-champions. Oh, the ball's given to Alfred, try to give it to the goalkeeper by kicking it behind him, but the goalkeeper it just went beyond him and had to run after it. Oldham's strengths are not in his speed, and that almost created a scoring opportunity for the Buccaneers. Buccaneers have it. Working with it is Vizcarra. His shot goes high into the air. Dons come down with it. That is Sanfilippo, who's just had a marvelous game back there. And we're going to have a whistle on the trip by Cañedo, or on Cañedo, and we'll have a whistle at that spot. So it'll be a free kick for the Buccaneers. It's going to be taken by Boyd. Here's his kick. But the Dons come out with that great header there. Alfred's got it. Sends it back over to 9. Oh, beautiful slide there by Sanfilippo. And the ball comes over to Usher, who's on the near sideline. He's got some room. He sends it up ahead. Ball is going to be going to Luna, though. But however, Martin comes back up with it. Sends it over to Alfred. They've got some room. Can they get a shot on net? No. Whoa, that was a close one. We are under 5 minutes to go in the second overtime. The Dons looking to break through in the final moments here. and if any team breaks through, it will be a heartbreaker. Will we have a corner kick for the Dons? So tense moments here for Mission Bay. Here's a corner. Goes into the air. It's loose. Moreno got a hand on it, deflected it, and it was kicked out. Again, players slipping and sliding. There is some soft areas of mud here on this field. We're at Torrey Pines High School, Delmar. That's a handball right there, and it was caught. Under 4 minutes. Under 4 minutes, there's a break for the Buccaneers, but nicely done by Sanfilippo, who was there to kick it out of harm's way, so the Buccaneers will try another crack at it. Can they get a shot on net? Oh, it's taken, but it goes way wide. We pick up action with a goal kick as the ball goes over to the midfield. Oh, contact there, no call. Will result in a throw-in for the Dons. We are under 3 minutes to go here in this second sudden death overtime session. Ball is headed out. Alfred trying to get possession, can't do it. Working against Herrera. Herrera does a nice job getting it up to 15. That is Eumenes. He's got it. He's got some time and space. He sends it over to the left side. He could have sent it to either side. Working with it is Vizcarra. Vizcarra has it. He's worked on by two guys. Can't pass, and he's stripped of the ball. Ball goes into the air, and into the play nicely comes Usher. Again, the Dons just beating the Buccaneers to the ball in most spots. Beautiful play there by McCausland. We're back on with under 2 minutes to go in this game. Sudden death overtime. The 1999 Boys Division III Final. The temperature just seems to keep dropping, but it must be refreshing for the players as they are working awfully hard and working overtime, double overtime that is. Dons have the ball. Trying to center it is Kutska. Can't do it. Buccaneers standing their ground. With it is 30. He sends it out. That's Miranda. He sends it out. Working at the far sideline and stripped of the ball is the Buccaneer player by Alex Rock. Rock doing a nice job there. We are about under a minute to go here in this second sudden overtime period. And that throw-in goes off of the Buccaneer player Sanchez and out of play for a throw-in for the University Dons. And we're gonna have a throw, a little confusion on the field. Now we're gonna have a throw. We resume action, and the clock has stopped at a minute, and we'll have a throw-in for the Buccaneers. The official game clock has stopped at 1 minute, so obviously we will have to wait to hear the whistle to find out when this thing ends. And big booming kick taken there by the Buccaneers, but that's going to go way out of play. And here's the goal kick taken by Sanfilippo.
Okay, ladies, let's start making our way down.
University Dons trying to work it past midfield. They do as Kutska has it. There's a lot of contact, a lot of complaining. And what we'll have Buccaneer ball. Buccaneers throw it in. Ball goes out of play again. And we pick up action as another throw-in. And that's the whistle. The game is over.
Final score.
The final score is Mission Bay 1, the University Dons 1. We have a co-championship in the San Diego CIF 1999's Men's Soccer Championship Boys Division III Final.
Champion.